Cocktails Lounge in Cleveland, Ohio is a gay bar, and they've been victims of anti-gay violence for the last year. In fact, they had 6 violent incidents in the last year, and as a result, the owner of the bar has called local police to come in and help. There was one case where a gay guy was literally beaten right outside the bar's doors. So as a result, it turns out that the police department, and maybe it wasn't as a result. Let me give you guys the case and you can judge for yourself. After they had called the cops numerous times because of these anti-gay situations, they received a letter from the police department. And it apparently said the following: repeated calls to the same property place an undue and inappropriate burden on the taxpayers of the city of Cleveland and on our safety forces.
All right, so when I read this, I nearly lost it. Again, wait, because there might be a reasonable explanation, right? But a guy was severely beaten outside the bar for being gay. They say these huge, like, not rocks, like boulders were thrown through the, the windows of the establishment, or hurled at the patrons of the place, etc. And I'm sorry if this is being an undue burden, that people are, getting assaulted in front of our place and rocks are being thrown at our patrons, etc. And I thought, that's what the police is for. I mean, what's the undue burden part? Like, oh, I'm sorry that I keep getting my ass kicked. Can you please help me and protect me like you're supposed to? That's your job. All right, now there's more here that outraged me before we get to the explanation.
Yes, so the letter continued to say, I am confident that we share the same goal and that you will take the necessary steps to eliminate the repeated calls for police services to your property. Therefore, within 10 days of the date of this letter, you will be required to submit your action plan to the 1st District Neighborhood Police Commander, outlining your strategy to eliminate the problems at this location.
So that's where I was like, oh, for Christ's sake, so I got to figure out how to not get my ass kicked so that you don't have to do your job, right?
So you don't have to deal with an undue burden.
Yeah, I'm sorry for having, bringing all these people over here who keep attacking me for who I am, right? And they added at the very end, failure to address the issues will be scrutinized for appropriate administrative or law enforcement action. So we might take law enforcement action against you for being assaulted too many times, right? Now, that might still be the case. That might be why they might have actually sent this letter, because of that issue. Right. Now, they have an excuse.
They do have an excuse. So they are claiming that they sent these letters out to a number of establishments at the same time. And the reason why they do that is because they just want to remind everyone, hey, think before you call the police. Make sure that when you do call the police, you actually do need their help. Because if it's for some frivolous reason, then you're wasting resources and you're wasting time. In fact, let me give you their exact statement. They said the timing of this letter was an unfortunate coincidence. If I had to do it over again, I would have handled this particular situation differently. After reviewing the issue with Mayor Jackson, he has directed me to rescind the letter and instead set up a meeting with the district commander and the property owner so that we can work together to address the issue raised.
Now, I would normally say, oh, come on. Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, right, buddy. Okay. But what they're saying is, for a lot of these bars, fights happen within the bar, which does happen all the time. And they basically sent out these letters to all these bars saying, dude, handle it on your own. Don't keep calling us every time you got a fight in the bar. Kick the guys out or deal with it in whatever way that you do, and stop wasting our resources. Otherwise, we're going to start charging you for it. And that's what they meant by taking administrative action. Now, that's pretty believable, okay? But it's also possible that there was somebody at the police department who was like, again, with the gay bar and these guys keep getting assaulted, why don't you just figure out how to not get assaulted? So, I mean, you would have to know more details. How many letters did they actually send? Did they really send it to the straight bars in the area? If they did, then I say not guilty. If they use it as a convenient excuse and they only sent it to this bar, then massively guilty.
Definitely. You'd have to investigate it to see where they're sending the letters.
Right.
But also, I think it would be a lot better if you're just smart about how you send this message. You see what I'm saying? So sending out these letters to a number of establishments without checking to see whether or not the establishment ever really made a frivolous call or anything like that is stupid.
Yeah, and I'll go one step further too. Saying at any point, gay, straight, whatever it is, like to do police work is an undue burden on the police is a dumb idea.
Exactly.
Like if you want to informally send somebody to do community policing and in the meanwhile, you go to the bar and you're like, guys, man, help me out here. Find a way to handle some of this stuff on your own. I mean, I guess that could be part of how you deal with things. But to write a formal letter saying, I'm going to start charging you if you keep making me do police work, it's probably a pretty bad idea under any circumstance.